All right. So,
With more pros trusting Interstate than any other battery, our pros are never hard to find.
If you like what you see, by all means, please remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Once again, this is my live reaction. So if I say anything outlandish, just, go with the flow.
Starting off this list, in our number 10 spot, we have Alex Undone. This unsettling story comes from an Instagrammer who went by the username Alex Undone. They posted a photo of what looks like a little USB charging cube thingy, and for some reason, also a sort of SD card. The caption of the photo tells a very creepy story. Basically, Alex had checked into an Airbnb and after a long day at work, had a nice cozy bath, had a bite to eat, and then headed over to the living room to chill out before bed. That is when they found this little USB cube, but this is when Alex also realized that this little cube actually had a camera hidden inside. The craziest part is that Alex only realized because they had remembered a warning from a model that went viral about how people did that sort of thing in places like Airbnbs or changing rooms or other disgusting things like that. Thankfully, Alex did their job and reported the finding, and the listing was subsequently removed from Airbnb, but I can't imagine how horrifying that must have been for Alex to find. In our number 9 spot today, we have a smoke detector. This story comes from a woman's apartment in Sacramento, California. Carlin Perry made quite a horrifying discovery in her apartment when she realized that her smoke detector was in fact not that, but was really a hidden camera. Written right on the thing, it said, "This is not a smoke detector, will not detect heat or smoke. For video surveillance only." This is wrong for so many reasons. Aside from the obvious hidden camera thing and how disgusting that is, the fact that she was living her life expecting her smoke detector to be able to actually do the thing it's supposed to do, like, how dangerous is that? There's a reason we have them. Not only did she end up moving out of the complex, but she is also using her story and her voice to help warn other renters. In our number 8 spot today, we have a motion detector. I hate that there's going to be too many Airbnb stories on this list, but unfortunately there are some horrible people out there in the world. This story was told by the coworker of the person it happened to. Basically, they posted a photo with the caption, quote, in "Oh, that's a thing now? News?" A colleague of mine thought it was odd that there was a single motion detector in his Airbnb in the bedroom, and voila, it's an IP camera connected to the web. He left at 3 a.m., reported, host is suspended, colleague got refund. Like, how insane is that? I'm glad that the people he told this story to actually listened and were able to point out exactly what about this story just wasn't right. I'm glad they got a refund for their horrible experience and that the host was suspended, but that still certainly really isn't any consolation at all. In our number 7 spot today, we have a cactus. This probably tops the list of most unexpected places to find a hidden camera. This story comes from Reddit from a user called Feet Outsider, and they said, quote, "I was re-gifted a plastic cactus figurine by a coworker. When I was going to bed, I accidentally kicked the cactus over and found a spy cam inside. I asked my coworker about it and she freaked out because a guy that made her uncomfortable had gifted it to her a few weeks earlier. She apologized for giving it to me. I tossed it. Thank goodness that thing accidentally got knocked over. I mean, imagine if it hadn't. How terrible you'd feel to be the person who unknowingly regifted that thing. Honestly, if someone who made me uncomfortable gifted me something, I'm glad I know that it's likely best to just toss it away. I hope they also filed some sort of report about the whole thing, because whoever gave them that cactus definitely needs to be looked into just a little bit. In our number 6 spot today, we have Smoke Detector Part 2. This story starts off with a family from New Zealand who was traveling around Europe when they checked into their Airbnb in Cork, Ireland. The father of the family worked in IT security, and like the smart man he is, he started off by scanning the house's Wi-Fi network. While the scan was likely pretty routine for him, it definitely unveiled something that he wasn't necessarily expecting: a camera that was connected to a live feed. The family scanned the home searching for it and found it hidden in another one of those pesky little smoke detector hidden ones. The family called Airbnb, and apparently at first they were pretty blasé about the entire thing. The family confronted the host of the Airbnb over the phone, who at first hung up on them and later called back to say that the hidden camera in the living room was the only one in the house.
What?
I don't care if it's the only one, I care that there's one at all. What a weird justification. In the end, however, the family contacted the right people at Airbnb who removed the host from the platform, and thankfully the family did that scan and got the heck out of there pretty quickly after first checking in. In our number 5 spot today, we have a kitchen cam. By this point in the list, you've probably started searching your own home for a hidden camera. I mean, I did, but I only found this one right in front of me. Just to add a bit of a breather in the middle of this horrifying list, we have this story that comes from the Reddit user Ace of Shovels. They said, quote, "Found a small camera hidden in my parents' kitchen overlooking the whole room. I found it, Dad came downstairs." Okay, that's definitely weird, but then they have typed in quotation marks, "Finally caught you eating my yogurts." This guy is the Go-Gurt gatekeeper. That's the most dad energy wrapped up into one little short story. He probably interrogated her about the thermostat immediately after this.
Way worse.
Okay, that was nice. Now, back to the creeps.
Nice.
In our number 4 spot today, we have a plug-in. A man named Max Vest, who checked into an Airbnb apartment in Miami, saw some plugins in the wall that kind of looked like those little cube chargy thingies, but it didn't have that USB part, so he had no idea what they were. Thankfully, instead of just chalking it up to some feature he didn't understand, he decided to look into it further and unplug the things from the wall. This is when he found the secret SD cards hidden inside, which made him realize it was, of course, a hidden camera. There were 2 of these little cubes found in his rented space. One was right below the TV, and the other was below one of those like plug-in air freshener things. Max took the SD cards to the police to report the incident and hopefully help protect others who may have been planning to rent that same unit. In our number 3 spot today, we have an air freshener. This is a creepy hidden camera story that comes from a shopping mall in Russia. Public washrooms are always just a weird, creepy experience, but this certainly takes it to a whole other level. Basically, a patron of this mall headed into the washroom where they saw an air freshener. Okay, no big deal. I mean, my first thought when I saw this air freshener was, oh, these ones? The ones that spray on their own and make you think someone is sneezing in the other room? These things that scare the heck out of you once an hour and no one needs to be spooked in a public washroom of all places? My next thought, however, is, just one? That's certainly suspicious on its own because you need at least 10 of those in a public washroom just to be functioning at neutral smell, you know? Anyway, luckily this patron also thought it was weird, and after a little further investigation, you guessed it, they found a sneaky little camera hidden inside. Honestly, I'm just grateful that someone else also thought one air freshener was weird and decided to check it out further. In our number 2 spot today, we have Starbucks. We're back again with another one of those little USB cube camera things, and now I'm suddenly feeling concerned. I would truly not think twice if I saw one of these things hanging out basically anywhere, so honestly, I'm glad I'm reading these stories and becoming just a little bit more aware. The caption of this one says, quote, "Found this camera disguised as a USB charger in the women's bathroom at the Starbucks I work at. It was plugged in directly across from the toilet. Please keep an eye out." Like, seriously, how gross can people be? Also, as if being a Starbucks employee who has to deal with Starbucks Karens all day isn't hard enough, you gotta add something like this? I'm just glad it was found at some point and dealt with properly. In our number 1 spot today, we have The X. This is a Reddit story that comes from the user IV0613, and it is one that actually gave me chills while I was reading it. They wrote, quote, "My ex-husband and I had been separated for a few months, and I was getting ready to go out to eat with my cousin. As soon as I got dressed, my phone rang, and it was the ex-hubby wanting to know where I was going dressed like that, and my brown boots would look better." And then in brackets, it says he bought or approved of all of my clothes when we were married and told me what to wear when we went out. I found cameras in almost every room of the house. He owned a security alarm business, so I assumed there would be 1 or 2, but not that he would be watching me all the time. Like,
at Tractor Supply, we know nothing feels better than doing
That guy right there. Wow. Wowee.
I absolutely could not imagine that. I'd feel like I was in some sort of horror movie if something like that happened to me. All I can say is I kind of get why they're an ex-husband. That kind of behavior is definitely not okay at all. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Dad Watch. This story comes from the Reddit user Pale Moon Pixie, and they said, quote, "My brother and I were constantly monitored this way by our dad. We didn't find the recording device. He actually sat us down and played the recording for us, where we talked about secretly visiting our mother, who we were forbidden from seeing for no other reason than her leaving. He also had a software program on our family computer that would log our chats. That's how he found her address and also found out that I had smoked for the first time. Ooh. The only thing that really came out of these situations were him sitting us down to out us and our shared phobia of cameras and hidden audio. Listen, I think there's a certain extent where looking into the lives of your children is acceptable and safe, but this definitely feels like it crosses multiple lines in terms of privacy and all of that. But to be completely fair, I don't have kids, so I can't really say much. All I can say is that I'm glad these kids knew about the surveillance going on. In our number 9 spot today, we have this illegal viewing. This story comes from the Reddit user tgroat555 and isn't exactly about a camera recording, but I came across this story and it was so creepy and weird I had to share it with my internet besties. They explained that their landlord had drilled a hole in the ceiling of their bathroom as well as 3 others on their floor from the top floor. He then used these holes to spy through, and it was only found out one day when a woman was in the shower and looked up, and that was when she noticed the landlord looking through. I literally get goosebumps just thinking about it. I can't even imagine having to actually live that. Here's where this already awful story gets even worse though. The Redditor went on to write, quote, "He went to jail, but I wasn't able to do anything because there apparently were no laws on the books in Iowa to prosecute peeping Tom cases when the victim and the perpetrator are the same sex." We won't even get into all the levels on which that law or lack thereof is wrong and unusual, but we will just hope it has since been changed because that is actually insane. In our number 8 spot today, we have the au pair. This story comes from a Redditor called Shecole3, and it's one that I am honestly kind of torn on. They wrote, quote, "I was an au pair and the family was normal and weren't strict with me or anything. But one weekend when they were out of town with the kids, I was home alone and on the couch eating a snack. My show ended and it was silent and I heard a noise and looked up and saw a camera turning towards me. It must have been motion activated or just did a turn every once in a while. It wasn't hidden, I just never noticed it, so I found it really unsettling because I didn't realize I had been being recorded. The fact that it turned towards me made me wonder if they could control it or see something on their phones and turned it to see what I was doing. I ended up unplugging it when they went out of town because it creeped me out and they never mentioned it." So here's where I'm torn. I think it's perfectly reasonable for these people to have had a camera in the living room of their own home. I think the living room is a pretty normal, safe spot for it, and again, it's their own home that they also live in. But in that same breath, I also understand and sympathize with the unsettling, eerie feeling of finding out that you were being watched when you didn't know. So I don't necessarily think anyone did anything wrong in this scenario, but I know you guys always have a lot of opinions about everything, so drop a comment down below and let me know what you think of this one. In our number 7 spot today, we have The Experiment. This story is a bit of a cautionary tale and serves as a reminder for us all to be aware of our surroundings. The Reddit user Tuentha463 God, wrote, quote, "A few years ago we had a Halloween party and rigged an old busted camcorder to the top of my shower curtain aimed at the toilet. The bathroom is small and it was obvious and in plain sight. No batteries, no power, no media. Not one person mentioned it. At the end of the party, I was like, WTF guys, nobody's gonna mention the camcorder over the toilet? Nobody had even seen it, somehow. I guess maybe the partygoers chalked this up to some spooky, weird Halloween decoration, or maybe they flat out just didn't notice it at all. Kind of a weird social experiment to pull, but nonetheless a good reminder for us all to keep our head on a swivel and just to generally be aware." In our number 6 spot today, we have Creepy Bob. I've said it before and I'll truly never stop saying it. Trust your instincts. If someone gives you a weird or uncomfortable feeling, there's probably some reason why, and this story is a perfect example of that. The Reddit user Stealthy Bomber wrote, quote, "One morning after swim practice my freshman year, my friends and I saw a blinking red light in a locker with a towel draped down the door. Turns out it was the janitor we called Creepy Bob recording us in the showers." That's disgusting and very creepy. I wish I had a follow-up on what happened next. I hope that they were able to report this incident to the proper people and get some sort of action taking, because there is absolutely nothing about that is okay. In our number 5 spot today, we have the Undercover Boss. This is a story posted by the user Local Creep, which, weird choice on a name, but anyway. The story starts off when they were working at a local little, grill/ice cream place over the summertime, and they had a boss that was less than ideal, we'll say. We've all had a lame or rude or lazy boss at some point, and we all know how frustrating that can be. They go on to explain that they got a soft serve machine at this place, but the machine wasn't really that great, and it would sometimes make some weird noises when it was being used too often. The employees knew that the boss had cameras set up in the business, which is pretty regular, and that he was one of those bosses who would sit at home and watch the camera feeds all day, but what they didn't know is that he was also recording audio. They only found out when he called into the store to ask why no one had told him that the ice cream machine was making a weird sound. The employees, of course, were pretty spooked because they obviously talked mad smack about this guy when he wasn't around, and of course now they knew that he had heard every single word. They ended off the story by saying, quote, "This might not seem all that bad, but this is illegal where I live. I actually went through all the application paperwork to make sure it wasn't in the packet, and it wasn't. We couldn't do anything about it because we didn't have proof, but if someone were to get fired for something the mic picked up, they could take the owner to court. I'm reporting him for some other things, so it wasn't the main concern, but still very much illegal. I want to know what the other things are." In our number 4 spot today, we have the Kid Cam. This story comes from the Reddit user MatthewWWRMT and is about a story from their childhood. They wrote, quote, "I come from a large family, 5 boys and 5 girls. As you can imagine, things get loud and ruckus pretty easily. One night, my sister and I saw my dad discreetly putting a recording machine on top of the fridge. When dinner started, we started being the most obviously polite kids. 'Sister dear, would you mind being kind enough to pass the potatoes?' 'Of course, brother dear. May I refresh your water for you as well?' It only took a couple of minutes before my dad stomped over to the fridge and took down the recorder. 'I was hoping to show you all how badly you behave.' Well, so much for that. Shape up and start acting like civilized people." My sister and I still laugh about that. I just love hearing stories about how clever and cheeky children can be. Unfortunately for this dad, children are always lurking around corners when you least expect it. Also, for a moment, can we imagine having 10 kids? The idea of one fills my body with stress. I can't imagine having 10 little rugrats running around. Honestly, those parents are braver than I am, that's for sure. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Thief Cam. This story is a reminder that sometimes those closest to us are the ones we need to keep an eye on the most. The Reddit user Lysan24 wrote, quote, "We lived next door to my dad's parents. They had a key for our house because his dad would often come and let our dogs out. Well, we started noticing weird things go missing, like a box of cereal, $5, just small things like that. So my dad set up a hidden camera in our kitchen to see if it was his dad, and sure enough it was. One day he came into the house, stuffed his pockets full of dog treats, and left. We eventually changed the locks and didn't give him a key, LMAO. Could you imagine? That's why you gotta get one of those Ring doorbell things. See who's coming and going, getting timestamps of everyone's visit. I would be interrogating everyone I knew in a dark room lit with only a lamp for some reason. I noticed you entered the residence at 1:25 and left at 1:27, and it looked like your right side was a little heavier than when you entered. Got any milk bones in there, Buster? I have my dog here to do a little sniffing around. He's exceptionally good at finding stolen treats." In our number 2 spot today, we have the Hotel Cam. This hidden camera story gave quite the frightening shock to those who found it, and luckily they were able to get down to the bottom of this mystery. Reddit user ZKAAAYK2 posted a story about how they and their boyfriend once stayed in a hotel while on vacation in another state. They were getting all settled down for the night, and that is when they realized that there was some sort of cord coming out from behind the TV, like an antenna almost.
Cord coming out behind the TV like an antenna. It's not the TV cord.
Challenge.
They investigated a little further and realized it wasn't attached to the TV at all, and instead was being threaded through a hole into the dresser below. This dresser drawer was also jammed shut. That's a big red flag. They ended up forcing it open and found inside a tiny camera that was pointing out of another tiny hole in the front of the dresser. They covered it up and of course brought it to the attention of the hotel manager. They then called the police, who were able to inform them of what had happened. Turns out the police had actually used that very same room just prior to this couple checking in, and they were using it for a sting operation, which is why they had placed the camera in there. The antenna part would have been connected to some sort of memory storage thing and then to a power bank. Luckily, this alarming find didn't have quite the same sinister ending as some others on this list. In our number 1 spot today, we have Alexa's Always Listening. Many of us have little virtual assistants placed throughout our homes in the ever-increasing technological
One second. So you mean to tell me who was ever supposed to check in the equipment log was just like, oh, you're a camera short. What abs? Like for real? Okay.
world
Taxpayers' dollars being wasted, flushed down the toilet for lack of oversight. And now you want to know how come people want cops to wear body cams? Because of improper bullshit like this. It's not even police abuse. It's literally just straight up laziness. It's about as bad as how America left Afghanistan. Like, oh yeah, the airport got overran. We left about millions of dollars of equipment over there. The Taliban probably's taking it now. Who cares? Like, really, guys? Come on.
we live in, and we do get used to these little things listening in on our lives, and unfortunately, sometimes people will take advantage of this. This story starts off in the midst of the storyteller's mom going through a divorce, which we all know can be a messy, messy situation. The ex-husband in this situation had apparently planted an insane amount of hidden cameras throughout the house that they had to search for to find. Entrances and exits, the living room, the dining room, the hallways, the bedroom, everywhere in the house was being monitored. They then found out that he had bugged her laptop so as to be able to have remote access to it. This is when she took her car for an oil change and the mechanic found a tracking device that had been placed on it. This was all found during the separation era, but once the divorce process actually started, things got even creepier. They write, quote, "Once the divorce started and he officially moved out, we scanned the entire house for bugs and didn't find anything. So we were really freaked out when he started calling, texting, emailing her, complimenting her outfits, asking how her friends were as they were in the house, asking how her trip to the store was, and other really odd things that he couldn't have known about." As it turns out, this guy somehow connected his phone to the Alexa dot beforehand, and he was now using it to record whoever was close enough to the Alexa to be picked up on the mic, and at this point he was still able to access the laptop and its camera. In a turn for the worst, unfortunately, because at the time the car and house were in his name, not much could really be done about it, and in the end he didn't face any kind of legal backlash at all. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the window washer. Okay guys, we're starting off with one today that when I saw it, I quite literally thought, yeah, I wouldn't have believed that without seeing it on film.
Wait. The fuck? No, hold up, what?
Yeah, I hope you're as shocked as I
you-
am. I live on the 11th floor, and I get the struggle of not being able to clean your own windows and having to wait for the annual window cleaners to come by in the spring/summer season, but like, I would not in a million years resort.
Hold up. Nah.
I
he's getting-
quite
he's about to
literally
get this
thought,
work.
yeah,
1 second.
I wouldn't have believed that without seeing it on film.
Alright. Either very Asian or very not Asian, but definitely very something. I'm glad that he has full trust in his ledge and isn't afraid of heights, clearly. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus Christ, dude. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, you don't, what the fuck is, dude? You're a
Literally
shitty-ass
thought,
cameraman.
yeah, I wouldn't have believed that without seeing it on film.
Alright. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, no. That's I'm done counting. That's yeah, you got it. You got it. That's
Yeah, I hope you're as shocked as I am.
That's,
I live on the 11th floor, and I get the struggle of not being able to
definitely
clean your
higher
own
than
windows
20
and having to wait for the annual window cleaners to come by in the spring/summer season, but like, I would not in a million years resort
Freaking
to this. Let's just watch it again, because I can't believe it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Bruh.
In our number 9 spot, spot today we have the cutoff. Okay, this one is so scary. Let's just all watch it quick and then we can debrief.
What the fuck? I thought that was a
Man just got cut off in the air. No horns up there, folks. This is obviously a video of some guys attempting to land their plane when another one comes out of nowhere and nearly sideswipes them. I can't imagine how terrifying that would have been for everyone in both planes. It isn't quite clear exactly what was going on with the other plane or pilot that caused this near miss, but whatever it was,
I will tell you what is going on with that pilot and the other one. That dude is clearly the dad of the kids from Independence Day. The drunk crop dude fighting Nam and shit and was busy talking about, oh, the aliens are coming. That's apparently he came back from the dead and revisited a different country in a different life. Wow, because for you to do something like that and just swerve mid-air, almost colliding, and then don't crash yourself, yeah, you know what the fuck you're doing. You just hope the other person knows.
It certainly wasn't good. Like, it's bad enough when someone cuts you off on the highway, but imagine mid-air. The stakes are high, there's a lot of physics going on right now. It's not the time for risky moves and people to just come out of nowhere. In our number 8 spot today, we have the funnel. Okay, every time I learn something about any kind of natural disaster or naturally occurring thing, I realize how little I know, so imagine my surprise when I saw this video.
That is a beautiful car. Is that a Scion? GTR, Nissan, hold up.
This accessory panel. And there's a problem with the accessory knobs where you'll be twisting it up, but you'll notice it's actually going down and vice versa, or the numbers will bounce around.
It's a
we'll
Nissan
take it.
Okay. Bro, what are you doing? I just love the GTR. I don't give a fuck about your GTR.
This guy is flying a plane around a funnel cloud, which is something that could potentially turn into a
the GTR sexiness
naturally occurring thing. I realize how little I know, so imagine my surprise when I saw this video.
Oh, fuck no.
This guy is flying a plane around a funnel cloud, which is something that could potentially turn into a tornado. This guy is legitimately taking selfies while doing this, too. I'm not exactly sure how dangerous or not dangerous this is, but it looks terrifying. And I feel like, should this end up turning into a tornado, he'll likely be in huge trouble. I feel like while this video is cool to look at, we should all probably not emulate this sort of thing. Not that many of us are out there flying planes around on the regular, and if you are, I mean, you probably already know that, so I don't know.
And this is not Twister. And they filmed that movie on the ground, so respect to that guy.
Number 7 spot.
The dude from Independence Day made a comeback, yo. Not only is he trying to collide with other people, he is literally trying to circle the vortex of a tornado, which might actually be aliens.
Today we have the nest. If you come around these parts often, you know I absolutely hate bugs. All of them. The flying ones have got to be the worst, though. From their ease of travel to the sound of their buzzing wings, they're disgusting and I just can't do it. This is exactly why this video made it onto this list today. Maybe I'm alone in thinking that this is extremely unsettling, but I felt my whole body go tight when I first saw it.
What the fuck?
What we are seeing is the destruction of a hive of giant hornets. Yeah. They're definitely giant. Did you see the size of them? The one that lands on the camera legitimately looks like it could be CGI. It's so big.
Hell.
I have no idea why they are doing this, but I presume it's to get rid of these gigantic creatures that belong in stories only. I just can't believe that hornets that big exist. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. In our number 6 spot today, we have the Thunderbirds. This is one that honestly isn't too terrifying or truly unnerving like some others on this list. It's more just insanely cool. This is a video of some US Air Force Thunderbird F-16s. That's already cool, but these ones are traveling at 400 miles per hour, just 18 inches apart from one another. That is so cool. These are obviously highly trained professionals who know what they are doing, which makes this video more cool than scary, but it's just so incredible to watch.
Must be an air show.
I wonder how that feels. I bet they feel like on top of the world, but I also bet their stomachs are absolutely in knots. Simultaneously the best and worst feeling ever. So excited, but so nervous. In our number 5 spot today, we have shark bait. It is well known that the ocean is a terrifying place with a lot of terrifying creatures, and if you asked most people what the scariest of them all is, many people would say sharks, specifically great whites. Listen, I'm not here for you to give me a lecture on how sharks are actually nice. I believe it, but I also believe that they're terrifying and powerful and huge. Specifically the one that's in this video I'm about to show you.
Do you have a death wish?
The caption that was shared with this post was, quote, "I'm sorry, what?" And honestly, I have to agree. This is said to be a video of Ocean Ramsey and her team as they encountered this 20-foot great white near a Hawaiian island. It is believed that this is the largest ever recorded, which is wild.
Fuck that.
Imagine holding hands with a great white shark. She is unfazed. This is honestly super cool, but it's just fear-inducing. Throw this on the oddly terrifying Reddit page. In our number 4 spot today, we have The Den. This is a video of one of my absolute worst fears that I didn't even really know existed until now.
That's great. That bitch is in pain. Look at her poor feet. Anyway. Oh,
Yeah, just a surprise rattlesnake den in their backyard. What a nightmare! Not just a regular old snake den. Imagine the sound alone. Let's look at that reveal again.
Oh, nah, they've been fucking like rabbits down there. What the fuck are they eating? Each other?
I honestly can't believe that the people filming are still standing there. I would have been out of there so insanely fast. I also feel like the fact that it's called a snake den is so ominous. Like, they're already terrifying, why couldn't we have called it something a little less sinister, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm alone. Den just sounds like creepy. In our number 3 spot today, we have Up, Up, and Away. This is a video that comes to us from the TikTok user OliveIron23, and I truly have no idea what is happening in it, so I'm just gonna show ya and we can discuss after.
Oh my god. Yeah, we're gonna see how long it takes to drop from 6,600 feet right through the cloud.
Okay, my first question is, where is his helmet? My second question is, does it even matter? Let's keep going because what I say definitely doesn't matter when there's a man flying through the clouds on a magical broomstick.
And we're coming down fast.
Oh.
We'll just leave it at idle because, you know, I could do an engine out. But,
the guy just said, I'll just leave it in idle, like he has a choice. I need someone to explain to me what this is and if it's even legal. I saw people on Reddit asking what airspace he's in. I'm like, I don't know, Earth? The clouds? Either way, this video is stressful. Guy's near orbit and he's making TikToks. In our number 2 spot today, we have Free Solo. This video shows a group of people traversing Shiva Dara in Nepal.
One second. The mere fact that he left it idle is just as scary. So, like, he does realize that if he leaves the engine in idle and the throttle doesn't kick back up when you have to restart the engine, you do realize that gravity is going to drag your bitch ass down, right? Like, you're just, like, this is like the death of Superman ×2. You're not going to get a big ass thud. There's not going to be a crater with your body there. It's just going to be you spread out over probably about 5 miles, because that's just how high you are, if not more of the radius, because your body is literally just going to go splat. But good for you. I mean, Red Bull needs to sponsor that guy, because clearly he needs life insurance, like right now, immediately, or whenever he made that, he still needs life insurance. Then too.
And they're doing it with no harness, just a line to grab and a lot of faith. In case you didn't get a good enough look at that view, here it is again. Like, call me dramatic, but one wrong move and you're rolling for the next 5 minutes at least. It's clearly an unbelievably beautiful place. I mean, there's a reason it's one of the most well-known pilgrimage sites in eastern Nepal, but I am just amazed at the bravery and confidence the people in the video have. I want to see a documentary about them. In our number 1 spot today, we have the skydive. Okay, when I told Taylor I was doing this list, he showed me this video and you know I had to include it. It's so wild. Let me just give you a little prelim of what's going on and then we'll get right into it. Basically, these shots are from helmet cams of people who, in 2013, were on a skydive plane that ended up in a crash mid-air with another plane. Okay, let's get into the clips.
What?
Surprisingly, this isn't a Mission Impossible clip, and it's actually very, very real.
Who the fuck? Oh my god.
So of course everyone had to let go and dive from there. There wasn't really any other choice for them.
What about the pilot?
In the end, everyone in the ordeal survived, and the pilot of the skydiving plane was even able to land it. I can't believe such a terrifying situation had such a stellar outcome. I'm sure everyone was quite shaken up, but at least they survived what could have been a way more deadly encounter.
Whoa. Whoa. You mean to tell me? You know what? Drunk pilots. The skydiving one, though, but the other plane, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you even... Okay. That video was slightly boring up until the end, until that last segment, but pretty freaking fracking awesome. Tell me your feelings about it down in the comment section below. Let me know if you really like these review videos, because I personally want to do reviews on other things, shit outside of this. But yeah, if you guys like it, let me know. Hit me up, leave me messages. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and of course Twitch and here. I have been your host, CJ Groot. I am CJ Groot, and you have been awesome. Thank you. Have a great night, and truly, it won't just be YouTube videos. I have interests in lots of other media sources as well. So like I said, peace, deuce. I'm about to hit the sleep, hit the hay, the sack, whatever you want to call it.